1, 2, 3, come on!
A common application of numbers in real life is through ratio. Sometimes we compare things in order to make a better decision, and ratio deal with such comparison. Hi, I'm Teacher Giovanni and welcome to Math TV Lessons channel. Our topic for today is all about ratio. Do you have any knowledge about ratio? We sometimes unrecognize ratio in our daily life, but unknowingly, we use ratio in our day-to-day living. I hope that you will watch this video until the end so that you will really understand what is ratio all about. Are you excited to learn? So let's go. Let's start our lesson. Ratio is a comparison of two or more quantities. It can be expressed in words. Example, 2 is to 5. You can also express in fraction form, 2 over 5, and in column form, 2 is to 5. You write a ratio according to the order of quantities being asked. In fractions, lowest term or simplest form is considered the final answer. Example, Nuneth has a cake business. She decided to post and advertise her business in social media via Facebook. Each day, she can regularly deliver 6 orders from her friends. How does the quantities be expressed or written in mathematical structure to show or compare relationships of quantities? In the problem, there are 2 quantities mentioned. One refers to each day of delivery and 6 for the number of cakes ordered and delivered. Comparing 2 or more quantities is what we call ratio. We come to mathematical structure to easily emphasize relationships between quantities. Ratio can be expressed in different ways, namely word form, column form, and fraction form. It must be expressed in simplest form, which means that the terms are relatively prime to each other. Check this out in the table. Based from the problem, Nunette able to deliver 6 cakes in just one day. The relationship of the 2 quantities, the number of days and the number of cakes delivered, is what we call ratio. And ratio can be expressed in 3 different ways. In word form, which is 1 is to 6, column form, the same as 1 is to 6, and in fraction form, 1 over 6. The ratio 1 is to 6 is the mathematical structure or statement showing the relationship between quantities regarding the flow of delivery of cakes. Now let's have another one. 3 succeeding days before Christmas, Nuneth delivered to her Facebook friends. I want you to look at the table. Each day, Nuneth able to deliver 6 cakes. So in day 1, Nuneth delivers 6 cakes and the same number of cakes in day 2 and also in day 3. So if you're going to add all the cakes delivered, there are 18 cakes in 3 days. So if you're going to form a ratio of the number of days to the number of cakes delivered, that will be 3 is to 18. As I have said, that ratio can be expressed in word, column, and in fraction. Is 3 is to 18 is our final answer? The answer is no. You have to express the ratio into the simplest form by dividing the quantities by their GCF. So the 2 quantities here are 3 and 18. What number that is common to 3 and 18 that can divide in both, or what we call the GCF? Okay, 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So the ratio is 1 is to 6. 3 here is the total quantity referring to the number of days. 18 is the quantity referring to the number of cakes delivered. It can also be written in simplest form as 1 is to 6. So let's have some exercises. Write the following ratios in word, fraction, and column form. Let's have number 1. 3 shelves for 120 books. So let's apply what you have learned. You are going to write the following ratios in word, fraction, and column form. You can pause the video every time you answer the following item. Let's have number 1. 3 shelves for 120 books. The ratio is 3 is to 120. But remember, you have to express the ratio into the lowest term. How? By dividing both quantities by their GCF. So 3 shelves for 120 books will become 3 is to 120 or 1 is to 40. Because the GCF of 3 and 120 is 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 120 divided by 3 is 40. Let's have number 2. 12 baskets for 8 shots. So the ratio here is 12 is to 8. But still, we can simplify it by dividing 12 and 8 by their GCF. So what is the GCF of 12 and 8? Applying your knowledge about GCF, you can mentally get the GCF of 12 and 8. That is 4. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. And 8 divided by 4 is 2. So your final answer is 3 is to 2. Number 3, 7 stars to a moon. So what do you think is the ratio? A moon here represents 1 moon. So the ratio is 7 is to 1. Do we need to simplify 7 is to 1? The answer is no. So your final answer is 7 is to 1. Number 4, 24 flowers to 5 vases. So 24 flowers to 5 vases will be 24 is to 5. Can we still simplify 24 is to 5? No, because the two quantities are relatively prime. Let's have number 5. 50 meters to 85 meters. 50 meters to 85 meters is 50 is to 85. By just looking into the two quantities, we can simply say that the two quantities can be simplified. What do you think is their GCF? The GCF here is 5. So 50 divided by 5 is 10. 85 divided by 5 is 17. So the final answer is 10 is to 17. Those examples are just basic ratios. I want you to apply what you have learned about ratio to a more complicated one. So I want you to analyze and choose the correct answer. Let's have number 1. A box contains 6 handbags, 18 math books, and 12 English books. What is the ratio of bags to books? This problem is quite complicated and needs your deeper understanding because there are lots of quantities given in the problem. We have here a box, we have 6 handbags, we have 18 math books, and 12 English books. What is asked here is the ratio of bags and books. So, you never mind the other quantities given, like the box. We will make attentions only to handbags and books. In the problem, there are 6 handbags, and 18 math books and 12 English books. But the question is, bags to books. So you are going to add 18 math books and 12 English books. So 18 plus 12 is 30. So there are 6 bags and 30 books. So what do you think is the answer? Is it A, 6 is to 18, B, 6 is to 30, C, 1 is to 5, D, 18 is to 12? I think most of you would say letter B, because there are 6 bags and 30 books. But take note that if the ratio can still be simplified, you are going to simplify. Look at the ratio 6 is to 30. Can we still simplify it? Yes, by dividing 6 and 30 by 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. 30 divided by 6 is 5. So 6 is to 30 is not your final answer. So the final answer is 1 is to 5. So the correct answer here is letter C. Let's have problem number 2. Out of 40 items test, Norma got 30 correct answers. What is the ratio of Norma's wrong answers to the number of test items? Sometimes we are so careless in answering some mathematical problems. We are very much confident of the given quantities of the given facts, but always remember and always think of what is asked in the problem. As you can see here, the given quantities are 40 item test and 30 correct answers. But what is asked in the problem is the ratio of Norma's wrong answers to the number of test items. So what will you do here? In order to know Norma's wrong answers, we have to subtract the 40 item test and the 30 correct answers to get the number of wrong answers. So 40 minus 30 is 10. So the number of Norma's wrong answers is 10. And what is the number of test items? We have 40. So what do you think is the answer? Is it letter A, 30 is to 40? Letter B, 40 is to 30? Letter C, 40 is to 10? Letter D, 1 is to 4? If your answer is letter A, you are wrong, because the first quantity here is the number of correct answers. But what is asked is the wrong answers. So, letter A is wrong. How about letter B? Letter B is still wrong, because the first quantity is 40, which is the number of test items. And the other quantity is 30, which is the number of correct answers. How about letter C? The first quantity is the number of test item, and the second quantity is Norma's wrong answers. But what is asked here is the ratio of Norma's wrong answers to the number of test items. So the quantity of wrong answers must come first before the number of test items. How about letter D? 1 is to 4. Is it the correct answer? Okay, yes. You might question why. So the number of wrong answers that Norma's got is 10. And the number of test items is 40. So the ratio is 10 is to 40. But remember, you have to express the ratio to the simplest form is possible. So 10 is to 40 can still be simplified by dividing 10 and 40 by their GCF, which is 10. So 10 divided by 10 is 1. 40 divided by 10 is 4. So the ratio is 1 is to 4. So the final answer here is letter D. Okay, so we are now done with our lesson about ratio, and I know that you already have enough knowledge about this topic, and I hope that you will never forget what you have learned, because I'm sure on you like it or not, whatever you do and wherever you go, you will never detach the application of ratio in your life. And one concrete example that you can apply ratio is baking and cooking. Once again, I'm teacher Giovanni saying, math is minds. Math is not a difficult subject. if you're willing to learn. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye bye.